అష్టాచమ్మ, గోల్కొండ హై స్కూల్ లాంటి సినిమాలతో తెలుగు ఫిల్మ్ ఇండస్ట్రీలో డైరెక్టర్గా తన సత్తా ఏంటో ప్రూవ్ చేసుకొని నేషనల్ అవార్డ్ గ్రహీత డైరెక్టర్ ఇంద్రగంటి మోహన్ కృష్ణతో ఇంటర్వ్యూ.
And Niveda is a very prepared actor. She is not someone who just come there and do it. Basically, he is a very serious person. By serious, I don't mean glum. Serious about his work. After a blockbuster comedy like Level A, this movie is a risk actually. Hi, I am Mohan Krishna Indraganti. My film Gentleman, Telugu film, is now in theatres. Please go and watch it. Thank you.
బందిపోటు ఫెయిల్యూర్ తర్వాత జెంటిల్మెన్ సినిమా ప్రొడ్యూసర్ మీకు స్టోరీ చెప్పకపోతే ఇప్పుడు మీరు ఏం చేస్తూ ఉండేవాళ్ళు?
I would have been doing something else, definitely. I always believe in independent cinema. I always believe that my first film was made on a very small budget. I had other plans actually. Bandipotu, this producer Mr. Krishna Prasad came to me even before Bandipotu. While Bandipotu was in post-production, Mr. Krishna Prasad approached me and said, let's make a film. I said, yeah, let this film release first. And Bandipotu released, it didn't do well, and I told him, are you sure you still want to make a film with me? Do you still trust me? He said, no, I do trust you. Failures are, success and failure is normal. I mean, it happens despite our best efforts in this industry. So let's go ahead and do it. That's how I got into Gentleman.
స్టోరీ విన్నప్పుడు మీ ఫస్ట్ రియాక్షన్ ఏంటి?
I thought my first reaction was excitement. I realized this was a genuine thriller. When I read a book or write a story, what I'm always looking for is there what they call in screenwriting, is there a movie in it? That's what we say. Is there a film in the story? Can I tell a story dramatically in film language is what I look for. And when I heard the story from David, I thought this is definitely a film, and this is a very exciting film. It has all the necessary twists and turns and emotional highs and lows. And I thought I must take it up right away.
సినిమాలో లాస్ట్ 10 నిమిషాలు చాలా కీలకం కదా, మరి ఆర్టిస్ట్స్ ని ఎలా ప్రిపేర్ చేశారు మీరు?
It was my actors, because we talk a lot about our preparation, about characters and about the plot. My actors come very well prepared because they know the whole story, and I don't write on the set. I don't do any kind of changes on the set. We improvise a little bit, about 20-30% of what's already there. But we already had a reading session. My actors knew the characters inside out. So I didn't have to prepare. When I'm on the set, I don't believe in directing my actors too much. I don't like pushing them around and dictating terms to them. I like them to have their space, interpret the character the way they want it, and they're constantly talking to me about it, collaborating with me. So we had no problem.
హీరోయిన్ నివేదా థామస్ నాని సీన్స్ ని ఇంకొంచెం ఇంప్రొవైజ్ చేశారని చెప్పారు, మీరేమంటారు?
Yeah. Improvisation in the sense that, for example, when there are two scenes, there is a combination scene between her and Nani. He would talk about how to do it. He will come up with 5 or 6 types of doing the same scene, and that really helps me as a director, and it also helps the co-stars. And so Nani always does it, and he does it really well, and he's very good at it. And he's always striving to make the scene work emotionally. What's the best thing to do now? Where should I pause? Where should I say the line? How much time should I take between one line and another line? How much space should I give to the co-star? All these are instinctive for Nani, I think, and that's his greatest strength, I feel, as an actor, and that helped a lot in this film.
ఈ ట్రైలర్ ఈ సినిమాకి ఎంతవరకు హెల్ప్ అయిందంటారు?
Enormously. The trailer, I think, set the tone for the film. We thought, I think these days the trailer is actually setting the expectations for the audience. Not only that, this trailer told the audience what the film is about. The film has romance, but it also has a thriller element. So it prepared the audience that it's not just a breezy love story, but there is also very racy thriller. So the audience came prepared for it, and even in the opening title sequence, we prepared the audience for that this is not a cute love story. It's got more than what you see. So the first look, the teaser and the trailer have completely, I feel, prepared the audience for what is in store, and they are very satisfied with it.
కల్చరల్ ఎడ్యుకేషన్ గురించి మీ అభిప్రాయం?
I think by cultural education, I mean that it's not, I don't definitely mean having degrees. Like I'm not saying if you're an engineering student or an MBA or or an MA or a PhD, it's going to help filmmaking. I don't think so. But you must be educated. You must have this education. Please don't ever think that filmmaking doesn't require education. It requires formal education also. But what I mean by cultural education is you have to have if not a comprehensive, an in-depth understanding of the times in which you are living. So you should have a good idea about the literature that's being written around you. In the literary circle, you should know the painting scene, musically what is happening in my culture, and in terms of other arts like theatre, for example. A filmmaker should have a reasonably deep knowledge of all these developments that are happening around him or her, which will enable you to understand the society, the times in which you are living better. And then the story will have an informed quality. It will not be a superficial, work. So when we create characters like the heroes and the heroines, the villains, you will be able to write good backstories, create a social context for them, which makes the film a much more meaningful experience for the audience. That's what I meant by cultural education.
మీ ఆలోచనలను, మీ అభిప్రాయాలను మీ మూవీస్ ద్వారా చెప్తున్నారనుకోవచ్చా?
I always do that. I mean, on all my films you can see that actually, that I establish the world of the characters very clearly. For example, in Gentleman, the heroine is a visual effects artist. I mean, she works in a visual effects company, and you see her working there, and her thinking, the entire character in the rest of the film runs along those lines. I mean, she is skilled with computers. She knows how to get into people's systems, and so she's basically a very smart woman. Similarly, Surabhi's character Aishwarya is an entrepreneur. So she, at the end, she wins the best entrepreneur award. She is a businesswoman, and she knows how to handle things. And Nani's character, for example, Jairam, is like that. And Gautam is an adventure sportsman. So I create these worlds. At the same time, creating relationships between people, men and women, I don't like regressive ideas. My heroines are never cute and dumb. They're very smart, they're working, and they're progressive. And my heroes are very progressive and broad-minded. They're very understanding. They don't treat women like objects of desire. They don't treat them like glamour dolls, my heroes, if you look at my films. And my heroines don't just run around the trees and sing songs. They have very, very important characters to play in all my films. So my understanding, my intention of how I want to portray, my education, my awareness, my sensitivity towards certain issues always gets reflected in my films, although I make all kinds of movies.
గ్లోబలైజేషన్ వల్ల తెలుగు సినిమా కంటెంట్ పైన నెగటివ్ ప్రభావం పడిందా?
No, there is, to some extent, there is that possibility. With globalization, consumerism came into our culture majorly. We are now obsessed with objects. We are obsessed with cell phones, the media. We are obsessed with Facebook. We are obsessed with Twitter. We are obsessed. So, and buying things, we are into buying objects now. So there is a definitely certain disconnect between people. There is less of personal interaction, more of interaction through technology. Ironically, the more we feel we are connected, the less we are actually physically connected. That is the reason I think people are feeling a certain vacuum in their lives, probably to some extent. But art, in my opinion, cinema, for example, and other forms of art are the best medicine for that. Art brings people together. Cinema brings people together. 500-600 people come to the theatre and watch it together. Painting, music, all these arts bring people together and connect them back. So hopefully arts will save our people from this disconnect.
అంటే డిస్కనెక్ట్ వల్ల ఆడియన్స్ టేస్ట్ నాణ్యత కోల్పోయిందా?
No, not really. I mean, audiences are liking new films. I mean, they are very much welcoming. But there are certain attention distracting elements now. Like, for example, if you're in a movie, people always are looking at their cell phones and checking messages in between the film, which was not the case before. So now the biggest challenge for a filmmaker is to make sure that nobody reaches out his or her cell phone during the screening. Stuff like that. But whenever there is a gripping film, a meaningful film, and film that makes sense to them, definitely people are watching. And you have seen that in films like the Marathi film Sairat, and some of the Malayali films that are coming now, the Tamil films that are coming now. Even a film like Gentleman is not a comedy. Gentleman is not a family drama. Gentleman is not a love story. It's not, but it's got everything in it, but at the same time, it's kind of a unique genre, romantic thriller. People are lapping it up. Only thing is, we need to respect their intelligence and time. I think that's what we have to do as filmmakers.
నివేదాకు మీరు ఫ్రీడమ్ ఇవ్వడం రిస్క్ అనిపించలేదా?
No, one of the things I feel a director must have is trust towards his actors, and trust their abilities, trust their instinct, and take a call. See, once I know what I want, I'll know, I'll be able to tell whether what they are doing is right or wrong very easily. And Niveda is a very prepared actor. She's not someone who'll just come there and do it. Even though she says, I'll do it my way, I know she's prepared. She has a plan. I trust that plan because she's such a good actor and she's already proved herself to me. I don't do that with everybody. I do that with only actors I trust. Other actors, I guide them through the scene very minimally, though. So I never found it risky. If it didn't work the way I wanted it, I would have said, hey, let's do it this way or that way. But she was spot on from the word go. So there was nothing to worry for me.
నానితో అష్టాచమ్మా చేశారు, ఇప్పుడు జెంటిల్మెన్ తీశారు. నానిలో మీరు ఎలాంటి మార్పుల్ని గమనించారు?
Nani is a lot, and the tremendous evolution. He, from an enthusiastic young actor in Ashtachamma to a very mature, balanced and very insightful actor. He's become someone who can actually understand a character, has his own take on it, interpret it. Basically, he's a very serious person. By serious, I don't mean glum. Serious about his work, serious about what he does, irrespective of success and failure. He takes his job very seriously. And he's very grounded. He's not someone who floats too easily. All these qualities have helped him. And what I like about him is that he takes risks, calculated risks. And most of them seem to have paid off. And this film also, after a blockbuster comedy like Balabale, Magadi Boy, this movie is a risk actually for him, and he took it and it paid off.
జెంటిల్మెన్ మూవీలో సురభి రిచ్ బ్యాక్గ్రౌండ్ నుంచి వచ్చిన అమ్మాయి, మరి తను ఎందుకు ఒక స్ట్రేంజర్ ని ఫ్లైట్ లో లవ్ స్టోరీస్ గురించి అడుగుతుంది? రియల్ లైఫ్ లో రిచ్ పీపుల్ అలా బిహేవ్ చేయరు కదా?
No. Rich people, that I think is a wrong notion. I think it's not about rich and poor, it's about people. I mean, I've known very simple rich people. I mean, there are times when Mr. Tata traveled in economy class, and I met people, very rich people, being very humble, and Mr. Narayan Murthy of Infosys and his wife, they're very simple people. I mean, so and they're just having a conversation. They're saying, hey, you tell me about your love story, I tell about mine. So I don't think it's got anything to do with having money. Aishwarya, in spite of being very rich, she's a very generous, kind-hearted, loving person. That's a character. And there are many people like that among rich people. So otherwise the world would have been a terrible place. So I don't think it's because of that. It's just the character that she plays.
సోషల్ సెటైర్ తో డీల్ చేయాలని ప్లాన్ ఉంది కదా, మరి కాంటెంపరరీ సొసైటీలోని ఎలాంటి అంశాలు డీల్ చేస్తారు?
No, all societies are contradictory. Basically, culture is constantly growing. Culture is never static. And culture is not just what the dominant groups say. There are many oppressed communities, like there are women, that there are Dalits, that there are the LGBT community. There are all these minorities which who have stories to tell, I think. And as filmmakers, we have to look at their stories and see if we can incorporate them in our storytelling, and or tell their stories. And it's happening now. It's happening in Hindi, it's happening in Malayalam, it's happening in Kannada, and in Tamil also. And so what I mean by that is, when I make a social satire, I want it to kind of satirically comment on some of the contradictions in our society, which will probably throw some light on the way we are living, and let people feel that contradiction and see what we can do about it. That's what I mean by a social satire. I want
షేక్స్పియర్ కామెడీ ఇష్టం అని చెప్పారు కదా?
And I want to adapt a comedy of Shakespeare's, not a tragedy. So I hope to, because I feel that Shakespeare is very adaptable to Telugu. I'll only take the core idea. I can't adapt the whole play because it's written in the 16th century. So, but I want to take the core idea and adapt it to Telugu culture and nativity and make it into a breezy, fun film. That's what I'm planning to do.
మణి శర్మ మ్యూజిక్ గురించి మీకు వచ్చిన ఫీడ్బ్యాక్ ఏంటి?
Yeah, one of the greatest assets of this film is the music by Mr. Mani Sharma. When I approached him, I was very apprehensive because I thought he's an extremely popular music director with tremendous stature and tremendous number of hits. And I have only made 6 films, and I approached him, and he was so generous and so friendly, so warm and so affectionate, and so passionate still about the kind of music that this film needs. And if you look at the songs and the background score of Gentleman, you'll realize how, with what sincerity, in spite of being so experienced, with what sincerity and passion is approached the film. I think clearly shows in the film. So this substantial portion of the credit of this film's success must go to Mr. Mani Sharma, and I'm immensely grateful to him for agreeing to do this and giving such a fantastic output.
మీ నెక్స్ట్ ప్రాజెక్ట్స్ గురించి చెప్పండి.
I have not yet decided about anything. I have 2-3 ideas. As I said, one comedy is what I'm thinking, and I'm also thinking of a satire, literary adaptation. So in the coming month, probably by the middle of July, I'll come to some kind of a conclusion and start something very soon.
థ్యాంక్ యూ సో మచ్ ఇంద్రగంటి గారు, అండ్ ఆల్ ది వెరీ బెస్ట్.
దిల్ రాజు ఎందుకు ఫస్ట్ సినిమా దిల్ కాబట్టి దిల్ రాజు, నా ఒరిజినల్ పేరు వేరు.
బట్ అన్ని సినిమాలు ఆయన బాగానే చెప్తాడు అని నేను పెద్ద లైట్ తీసుకున్నాను. బట్ ఈ సినిమా గురించి చెప్పిన తర్వాత వెళ్ళి చూసేసరికి చాలా ఎక్సైట్మెంట్ వచ్చింది.
ప్రతి సినిమా లవ్ స్టోరీ ఉంటుందండి. నాకు తెలిసినందులో లవ్ స్టోరీ లేకుండా సినిమా ప్రపంచమే లేదు. నాకు రాశికన్నా ఉందని చెప్పారు, కాదని చెప్పాను. దాని మళ్ళీ ఒక సంవత్సరం రాశికన్నా అడిగారు, కాదని చెప్పాను. 99% లవ్ స్టోరీ. లైక్ మరో చరిత్ర, గీతాంజలి, ఏమై చేశారు.